Hey everyone, it's Amy from Making Space. I've got another Young Designers inspired activity for you today. It's a design challenge and it's going to result in you creating some illustrated designs which are a bit out of the unusual and kind of not something you'd normally design. So what you need is a fashion template. You need pencil, a pen, and some paint. So I'm going to use watercolour today. You might also want a rubber if you want to kind of rub out your pencil marks first, but you don't need one. So let's clear some space and we'll get started. Okay, so you're going to just be working on plain white paper. I'm not sure I said that, but you do need some plain white paper. I'm going to help me a little, I'm going to pop the template just underneath a bit of paper, just so I can really faintly just see the outlines of the bodies. That's just going to slightly help me with my proportioning. But I don't want to use these in such a way that I'm cheating, that I'm trying to paint garments on there. They're just to help me know where the head, the body, the legs are, and because I've got two on a page, it kind of helps me separate it out. So as I said, I'm going to use watercolours, and the idea of this activity is you're going to apply the paint first, and you're not going to be too precise about where you're going to put the paint. You're going to splash it, you're going to flick it, you're going to splodge it onto the paper, and then once that's dry, then you're going to try and design an outfit inspired by what you've made. So I'll just start doing it so you can kind of see. So I'm going to show you some different techniques. So if you flick the end of your brush, you can get some really nice sort of flicks and little dots. We can try some splashes. And again, really try and not paint an outfit. Just get some colours on there. Don't be too precious about what you're doing. That's kind of what the activity is all about. You just want to kind of get some paint on there and then respond to that when you come to do some illustrating later. Okay, let's pop a different colour on there for a bit of contrast. Maybe some pink down the bottom and a couple of pink splodges up there. Okay, so that's one done. And you can see it doesn't look like any kind of clothing, it's just some splashes and swashes on a page. So let's try and do something different with the other one. My suggestion would be to try and make a few of these up before you get started, and then you can kind of respond to them, have a look at them, see if there's something that you really like that kind of speaks to you, and then work from there. But you can see I'm not trying to be too precise, I'm just kind of sploshing the paint on there, and I'm just using the pencil lines underneath that the template underneath, just as a rough guide of where they are. Okay, so that's it. That's the first stage done. You're going to want to let these dry. Put them aside, leave them for half an hour, let them dry out, especially if you're using sort of thin, just normal copier paper, which I am. But as you can see at the moment, that just looks like a splosh, which is kind of what you want. So we're going to pop that to the side to dry. And then I'm going to bring in one that I made earlier, so quite similar to what I've done on there. And now, once they've dried, now it's your time to kind of use these lines and these marks on here to design from. So, line it up so you can see your templates underneath. Now, to help me, I like to just put a really light pencil mark down so I can just see where the body is underneath the paint splotches that I've put on. I find this quite helpful. It kind of shows me, you know, what I might end up designing. But you can see I'm pressing really lightly. You can probably even hardly see my lines that I'm doing. And they just need to be on there just so you can kind of see what's going on and where the body lies underneath. So that's that one done. Like I said, you probably can't see anything on the video, so I'll try and do this really quickly. And if you're struggling to kind of see through the paint, you can kind of lift it up, hold it up to the light a little bit, and that might help you, or go up to a window. I'm just going to lift it off so I can kind of see. A second. Okay, yeah, go up to a window, use that as kind of almost like a light box to show you where the lines are. If you've got sort of quite dark paint, like I've got here and here, you won't be able to see your template that well through it. So once you've got the bodies just sort of really lightly sketched in, you can now start designing. Hopefully where the paint splotches are, you're already getting a bit of an impression of if it's a dress, if it's maybe a top and skirt, what kind of look it is. You can start drawing with pencil first and then go over with pen afterwards. Excuse me. Or if you're feeling confident, you can go straight in and draw with an illustration pen. There's no right or wrong, but what you're going to do is you're going to use the lines and the splotches and the patterns that you've made with the paint to inspire your designs. So I'm going to start with this ready pink one. And you're going to use the positive and the negative spaces that you've got on here to sort of inspire your design. So to me, these kind of splotches at the bottom that are coming up look like big almost ruffles to me. So that's what I'm going to kind of draw in. And then there's a big sort of ruffle up here as well. And I think lots of these designs will lend themselves to big gowns, big dresses, just because they're slightly more unusual. You're not going to get kind of, you know, an everyday pair of jeans and a t-shirt out of it. You're going to get a more unusual design. Oh, my phone's just switched a little bit. Make sure that's back in place. Okay. Right, so then I've actually got these lines that are sort of coming up here, which to me look almost like the ruching on a dress or a gown. So I'm going to carry them on and carry that up and around. And then you also need to work with the negative spaces on your design. You're going to have bits of just body that are left bare. So you've got to then think, okay, well, how could I incorporate that into a dress? So you can see there, I've just put the outline of a strapless dress sort of in there, coming up in and around this sort of big, frothy, ruffly design here. And have fun with these. You know, like I said, there is no wrong or right way of doing it. You're just experimenting, having fun. It's really going to push you outside of what you're used to designing and drawing, because it's forcing you to work with shapes and patterns and colours that you might not normally pick. And that's what's quite a nice result of this sort of design challenge. So you can see I'm sort of working now back into adding more detail. I'm adding kind of more ruffles. And obviously if you want to, you can incorporate pen as well. Sort of coloured pens if you want to get some more detail in there as well, if you want to kind of add to your design. And then don't forget things like, you know, the feet, the shoes as well, because that's what's going to make your design look completed as well. So I'll just put some little shoes in at the bottom there. And I'm obviously using quite a fine liner, but if you used a really thick bold pen, you'd get a much stronger outline than I've got here. And then it's got these cool lines up here. And then once you've got the garment sketched in, you can then sketch in the rest of the body parts that you'd be able to see. So on here it's this arm and just a bit of this arm here. The rest of it's going to be kind of hidden. And don't worry if you can't draw, if you don't think you're very good at illustrating. You'll notice I don't do hands at all. I don't really do faces either on my ones. It's a fashion illustration, so it's not supposed to look lifelike. It's just supposed to look, give an indication of the garment that's there. So, okay, I think that's my first design done. So there we go, you can kind of see it's this amazing full-length gown with these ruffles at the bottom and on the hip coming up over one shoulder. So that's one. So now let's try and do the other one. And I'll try and do slightly different technique on this one to show sort of two different styles, although they're quite similar. So let's have a little thing. We've still got a bit of a big shoulder thing coming up here, but maybe we could try and draw it a bit more like a jacket. And then this become maybe a big scarf or something that's kind of coming up. So just really have fun with your designing. You know, don't try and make it too perfect. Just explore what kind of happens with the designs that you're working with. This one's got some really nice splashes up around the neck, so I'm going to kind of work with that and create a kind of necklace design going on around here as well. So you can see this big kind of crazy scarf look that she's got going up and over the neck is kind of coming around. So what I'm going to do to kind of edge it off, I'm going to kind of give it some tassels. Go on in and put some kind of almost like a bit like a crochet almost pattern. I'm going to kind of, you know, you really just want to really experiment, see where the lines and the paint colours that are on there take you, be led by them, let them kind of make some of the design choices for you. You know, I'm pretty sure if you told me to design an outfit this morning, I never would have designed a suit with a massive kind of full-length flared sort of scarf on it. But that's what's quite fun about these. It forces you out of what you'd normally design and makes you sort of think about something else, which I think is quite fun. Okay, looking pretty cool, pretty crazy, but I like that. And then if you really feel that it needs something else, it's kind of it needs something to really complete the look. You can go back in and add more colour, you know, it's completely up to you. So if I really wanted to get a bit more blue up and around this to really show that it's kind of going up and around her neck, that's fine. It's your design. You know, if you want to work back into it afterwards, go for it. There's no right or wrongs, and you know, you might decide you want to put a bit of colour on the designs underneath as well. Like I said, you know, it's your design. You make it up as you go, however you want to. And I'm just going to put some sort of stripes in this suit to kind of give it a bit of structure. I'll slightly smudge my lines there. And there you go, another design. Let me swing that around so you can really clearly see it. So you can see we've got kind of a pink and orange kind of ball gown over here, and then we've got this sort of pinstripe wide leg suit with this kind of oversized green and blue kind of scarf that comes around it there. I also did some other examples, which if I move these aside I can show you. So here's some other ones that I did earlier. Again, two very crazy dresses. So we've got this kind of brown and blue one, and it's got almost like a big bow and big corsages and flowers all down the bottom. And this one, which to me looked quite natural, so I kind of made it look like fern and seaweed over kind of almost like a swimsuit underneath. So that's the challenge. It's really simple. It's completely up to you where you go with it, but you can get some really lovely designs from it. And it will really make you create things that you wouldn't have normally done, which is great, and kind of what design challenges are all about. So have a go, and yes, share your finished results with me. I would really, really, really love to see them. And what I'll do is I will go and do some work on this one that we created first, and then I'll share that with you and some pictures at the end as well. So have fun, and I'll see you soon. Okay then, bye.